Emily from Kitty with a Cupcake, and I'm going to show you how to turn your Pride Pals display from this into this.
Here are all the pieces you have. You have your instruction sheet, this header card, you have 4 of these kind of square-shaped pieces, and then you have 1 rectangle-shaped piece. This is a long piece. And you have this biggest piece that has wings on it. That's the one we're going to use first. So get that big piece with the wings unfolded, first of all. So totally unfold it. And then we're going to take these side pieces and fold them up and then slot those slots into place. So you fold up that side and then you put the little flap into the slot and that is going to set up your base. And you kind of got to hold those in place so that they don't go anywhere while we do the next step. Now we're going to fold up the front bottom, and these flaps on the side are important. So we don't want those to be in next to the side. We want them to kind of stick out because we are going to fold them and sandwich them inside this front part. So you can see that as I fold that up, I catch that little flap in there. You can see this on the other side too. There's the flap sandwiched in between the front part, and then you can tuck the front part into its slots. Those purple side flaps, don't worry about them. They stay right there. So they get folded into this side piece. There's this tuck flap here. You just tuck that. It's just to make it easier so you don't rip the side. You don't need to like fully fold it or anything. And then you tuck the triangle into the slots there. So that is all set up. And you can see that purple flap from the front that we left down is just going to go inside that triangle. We tuck our tuck thing and then we fold those slots together. Hooray! The last step of this piece is you just fold down that top flap and it won't stay perfectly, but we're going to do something that locks it in later. And then you just put this piece to the side. We're going to work with a new piece now. Grab your rectangle piece and we're going to pop out all of the perforated slots in this piece. There are 3 different rows of perforated slots and you're going to pop all of them out, and you don't need to save any of the pieces you pop out. You can throw those away. So to orient yourself, the top is the part with the smaller slots and the bottom is the part with the longer slots. So important that we're going to be going from the bottom to the top. We're going to pre-fold this piece because it is actually the shelf of the stair riser part of the display, and it doesn't stay put without those vertical pieces. So we're going to do all of our folds and then we'll put it all together at the end. Vocabulary for you, so we make sure we're all folding in the same direction. This is a peak. So where the cardboard is facing each other and the purple is on the outside is a peak, and then the opposite direction, like here at the bottom, is a valley where the purple is facing each other and the cardboard would be on the outside. Makes sense. The valleys go in, the peaks go up. And that general folding tip for this section, just go slowly, fold a little bit, then fold the whole line across. Don't rip your cardboard. Just be gentle. This is a handy dandy chart that shows you all of the different directions of folds we're going to do on this piece. You might just want to pause the video here and work from this chart to figure out how you fold this piece. It explains what a peak and a valley is and tells you which different folds to do on all of the sections. I also will explain this verbally in the next clip. Okay, so now we're going to work from the bottom to the top. We're going to start folding. I'm going to tell you what you do, either a peak or a valley. So starting at the bottom, your first fold is going to be a valley. So that is the purple going towards itself, then a peak. Then you do another valley fold, a peak, valley, valley, peak, valley, peak, peak. And if that was too fast, you can just pause here in the same diagram. Make sure your piece is folded this way. Now we're going to prep our riser pieces. You have 4 of them. You can pop out these middle V perforated pieces on all 4 of them. You don't need the perforated pieces, just go ahead and throw them away, but prep all 4 of these pieces by popping out these V's. Next, we're going to fold these pieces. So you fold cardboard to cardboard, purple on the outside to create a peak, and you do that for all of them. So fold all 4 of them just like this. They kind of look like little tacos. On our riser pieces, the top is the pointy end, the bottom is the not pointy end. Top pointy, bottom not pointy. So we're going to be connecting our pre-folded piece and our risers. Remember, this is the bottom of the pre-folded piece and this is the top of the pre-folded piece. We're going to take the riser piece and put the pointy end through the top rightmost slot of the pre-folded piece. So you just poke that pointy end through that top slot and then you fold it over so that that long peak can slot down into the upright slot on the riser. So you see that kind of forms the shelf of where our pins are going to go. And then you do that on the next one too. So that is our peak there. It has two valleys on either side of the peak. And you take that peak and you're going to slot it into the upright slot on the riser, like so. Be gentle. You could rip something if you really are struggling. So just be gentle and go slow, and you will get it in there just fine. And do the same thing with the bottom one. You put the peak into that slot on your riser, and then you can kind of scoot everything down. And that is getting our first riser in. And you can see that we have made the shelves where our pins are going to go and have that basic shape. So we're going to be putting all the risers into their slots like that. We're leaving this back flap fine for now. We'll do that at the end after we get all of the risers in. So let's go on to the next one. So we grab our next riser piece, and again, we're putting the pointy end through that top slot. So just go to the next slot after the one you've already put the riser in and pop that riser through. You can see that because our bendy piece has already been formed into the shape it's going to be, that it's much easier to do the risers after the first one. So you just get your peaks set up so they are slotted into the vertical slots of the riser. And now you have two risers set up and ready to go. It looks like this once it's finished with the two risers in there. And we will go ahead and grab our next riser piece. And again, you are going to take the riser and put the pointy end through the next top slot. And it's going to be even easier than the second one because we already have our bendy piece formed into the shape that it's going to be in by the other two risers. So just get those peaks lined up with the vertical slots on the riser and get them situated. All right, that's what it looks like with the three risers. So we're going to grab our fourth riser. Again, the pointy end of the riser is going through that top slot on the bendy piece. So you can stick that through there. And because we already have our other three risers in there, everything kind of lines up and is ready to go. So you're putting those peaks into the vertical slots on the riser. And then you kind of have this waffle shaped thing that is your stair riser for the inside of your display. And now we're going to tuck this flap in. This flap locks everything into place. You have these slots on the back of it, and those slots line up with each of the risers, and they have a little horizontal slot on the riser that they tuck into. So you just tuck those in. And I did rip the back here, but that's okay. It just goes in the back. But you tuck those in and then you can push them into place once they are lined up. And you can see this forms kind of a little box on the back that gives the riser support. And everything has a slot that matches up to another slot, so it should fit in there pretty easily. And that is your finished insert piece. Now we're going to combine the two pieces we made to make our finished display. So you have your waffle piece and your base piece. Make sure that this flap is folded in on the base piece and make sure that the bottom flaps on your waffle piece are folded up so you don't place the feet on top of it. So you put that just inside the base like that, should slot in perfectly, and then you can just kind of adjust those feet that are flapping around so that they cover the cardboard of that base piece. So everything looks nice and purple. Now we're going to put our signage in. This is the front and this is the back. So you just take this piece and you're going to line up these slots with these little pegs and place the peg into the slot. You can kind of open the slot with your finger first to make sure that you don't bend the pegs of your signage. And then you just pop it on in there and your display is finished and looks great. Now it's time to fill it up with your chosen Pride Pals pins and get it out on your floor.
It's all finished. Doesn't it look nice? Hooray!